This is CBC Here and Now.
Here at the RNC headquarters in Corner Brook, there is a new traffic accident investigative unit, which means police here are a lot less dependent on their colleagues from St. John's. I'll explain.
Cod and 3PS are smaller than they used to be, and few young fish are entering into the stock.
Disappointing news about the number of cod off our shores. DFO says cod stocks are down. Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. We begin tonight with the sentencing hearing for a St. John's man guilty of dozens of sexual violence charges, some involving children. And a warning, this story does contain disturbing details. Former volleyball coach and teacher Markus Hicks was brought from the Bishops Falls Correctional Centre to provincial court in St. John's to hear victim impact statements in person. Here and Now's Enrica Wilhelm reports.
It was an emotional scene in the courtroom Thursday morning when a full room, including victims and their family members, listened to a total of 6 victim impact statements detailing the lasting effects Markus Hicks's crimes have had on them, their lives, and their families. Hicks, who was present in person for the accounts, showed no visible reaction. 3 of the statements were read by Crown Attorney Mark James, the other half by the victims themselves, and all of them described how trust has been broken forever. A statement by the mother of a victim called Hicks's intentions unspeakably grotesque and said the impacts have been profound, but she also detailed how her son has been able to move on. Her statement said he may have been wounded, but Markus Hicks did not break him. A statement read by a victim detailed lasting feelings of blame and guilt and how he's had to go to therapy. Another victim told the court that his passion for volleyball has been impacted as he now doesn't trust his athletic skills anymore. The last victim to speak gave a detailed account of mental and physical health issues caused by the crime. He said at first he turned to alcohol and his grades dropped, and that he has since developed PTSD as well as OCD and OCPD. For over a year, I took 2 showers every single day, he said. Markus makes me feel dirty. But he also said that speaking in front of the court is his way of standing up for himself. While looking at Hicks, he said, "I will never forget what happened, but I will not let this define me anymore." The case is now set over until January 30th. Enrica Wilhelm, CBC News, St. John's.
And there were some tense moments in another St. John's courtroom this morning as well, as a complainant in the Tony Humby trial walked away from his testimony. Now, this story contains details of alleged sexual abuse. Ryan Cook reports.
A chair in a private room sat empty after lunch on Thursday as the young man testifying did not return to finish his direct examination. Before walking out, he told the court how he was sexually assaulted by Tony Humby on at least 2 occasions when he was 13 or 14. The first time, he says Humby plied him with alcohol and marijuana before paying him to perform sex acts with 2 other teenage boys. All 3 were living in group homes under the care of the province at the time of the alleged abuse. In the second incident, he says he spent the night partying at Humby's trailer and woke in the morning to find his pants down and Humby sexually assaulting him. He says he did not consent, saying there was no conversation at all. The young man had a hard time describing the details of the alleged abuse, getting frustrated as the prosecutor asked him for more details. He had enough by noon, standing up and leaving the room with 2 sheriff's officers. Crown Prosecutor Deidre Badcock came back after lunch to say the complainant was having a panic attack and requested time to calm down. The court agreed to set the matter over until Tuesday. The young man left today in handcuffs as he's currently locked up on a number of charges. Of the 9 complainants we've seen testify so far, 4 are in jail. Ryan Cook, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, Quinlan Brothers Seafood says charges surrounding allegations of selling rotten crab have been dismissed. In a statement, the company says the Crown called no evidence in relation to any of the charges related to crab production and handling at its Bay de Verde facility. Now, this follows an incident in 2024 where Department of Fisheries inspectors conducted a surprise inspection at the Quinlan crab processing facility after reportedly encountering some quality issues with snow crab. Now, at the time, the department said the crab was dead before processing and deemed some of Quinlan's catch unfit for the market and destroyed $500,000 worth of product. Now, Quinlan had been facing 4 charges under the Fish Inspection Act. However, as of today, the Crown has dismissed those charges. The company says this proves the allegations were unfounded. Impaired driving charges against an RCMP officer in central Newfoundland have been dismissed. Troy Turner reports.
Travis Parker Plant was not in court today when Judge Mark Linehan dismissed 2 charges against the officer who was previously stationed in Glovertown. Plant was involved in a single vehicle crash on the Trans-Canada Highway just outside Glovertown in October 2024. In a news release at the time, the RCMP said officers arrived on the scene around 10:45 a.m. before Plant was brought to the detachment, where he provided breath samples that were more than 1.5 times the legal limit. He faced 2 charges related to operating a vehicle while impaired. However, the defense made a charter application claiming the search related to the collection of breath samples was illegal. Today in Gander Provincial Court, the Crown conceded and no further evidence was called. The judge then dismissed the 2 charges. We reached out to the RCMP about the status of Plant's employment as an officer, but no answer was provided as of late this afternoon. Troy Turner, CBC News, Gander.
Well, in political news, the Premier is calling for the release of a document related to Churchill Falls that was written during Andrew Furey's time in government. In a letter released to the media, Tony Wakeham is asking Furey to release a document called the 2041 Churchill River Management Expert Panel Report. Now, Wakeham says this report has been categorized as a cabinet document, which means the information can only be accessed by those within the cabinet of the former government. Wakeham says he believes the report has information which could inform an independent review of the Churchill Falls MOU with Quebec, and he's asking for Furey's consent to release it to him. New data from DFO shows some of the province's key offshore cod stocks are continuing to drop. The CBC's Todd O'Brien has the details.
It's back to the drawing board when it comes to rebuilding cod stocks in Fishing Zone 3PS, an area running from west of Burgeo to Cape St. Mary's. The latest DFO stock assessment is less than encouraging. They found that there are less fish there than they previously had thought.
Our latest assessment shows that the stock's growth is slower than we anticipated, and the size of the stock is smaller than we thought. Cod and 3PS are smaller than they used to be, and few young fish are entering into the stock. The ecosystem in 3PS is changing, and the ocean continues to become warmer. Cod productivity is expected to be negatively impacted by these changes.
The cod stock is deep in the critical zone, and it was expected to have improved significantly since the plan was adopted last year. In recent years, more of the stock is being found closer to land, closer to shore than the offshore. The FFAW in a release says the assessment makes it clear that the cod stocks in 3PS are in trouble. The Fisheries Union is pointing the finger at offshore draggers in the offshore. The spawning stock biomass in the entire zone is just 27,000 metric tons. In the 1960s, it was over 250,000 metric tons. With a warming ocean, DFO says that the chances of cod recovering are lessened and that a review of the rebuilding plan is warranted. Todd O'Brien, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, now to the West Coast. A new RNC traffic unit in Corner Brook is specializing in accident investigation and distracted driving. Here Now's Colleen Connors has more.
RNC on the west coast of the island now has a traffic accident investigative unit. Well, what does that mean? Well, there's 24/7 coverage now if there is a traffic infringement or a bad accident in Corner Brook on either sides of the Bay of Islands or in the Humber Valley region.
And they will be providing support to our patrol services, but they will be conducting all of our traffic collision reports, our accident investigation, any fatalities that we may unfortunately have.
In the past, if there was a bad accident, investigators from St. John's would have to quickly travel to the West Coast. Now, 3 officers here have received specialized training to properly staff the unit. It's all part of the provincial police's expansion into communities surrounding Corner Brook. Since last summer, RNC patrol areas from Pasadena to Cox's Cove, areas that used to be policed by RCMP.
We hope that our community and our region are going to see a better response time. Just naturally, being self-sufficient here within the region should be a success for everyone.
The traffic unit will also focus on distracted driving, a problem Sharp says is everywhere.
Distracted driving comes in all forms, whether it's digital with your cell phone, using the technology in the cars now, as well as could be eating, it could be driving with a pet in your arms. These are all forms of distracted driving, and a big part of this unit is to provide education as well as enforcement.
She says this new traffic unit will be conducting more traffic stops to educate the public, who may not be aware that some of these things are actually illegal. And Inspector Sharp says that the public on the west coast of the island should expect to see a lot more traffic stops in the coming weeks. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Corner Brook.
Well, now to some health news. This province still has no confirmed measles cases. Canada lost its measles elimination status this week. There have been over 5,000 cases reported over the past year in the country, but none in Newfoundland and Labrador. Dr. Janice Fitzgerald says this is due in part to the work of public health nurses.
Families trust their public health nurses. They get good information, and those public health nurses are really diligent in ensuring that children get their vaccinations, so they make sure they have their follow-up appointments. If people miss appointments, they follow up and rebook.
Well, post-secondary students in St. John's have a new housing option this year. Westerland Apartments opened next door to Memorial University's campus. The CBC's Maddie Ryan recently got a tour of the new apartment complex.
This brand new student apartment complex in Memorial University's backyard is already a hit, according to the people at Westerland.
So the demand is high for sure. So the first 2 buildings filled up right away, and we're just filling up the 3rd right now. The number would be about getting near 600 now as far as number of tenants, and it's 205 units altogether.
The 1 to 5 bedroom apartments come fully furnished, and they have everything from a private bedroom to a full kitchen and even some common rooms to unwind in.
You know, we have students that are coming from a variety of backgrounds, and they don't always have the opportunity to be in spaces that are a little bit more zen and kind of relaxed. So we just figured that it would be good to have that space on site. So, after a long day at school, there's somewhere that they can go and decompress.
There's a lot to look at outside, too. The firm that developed Westerland, WorkLive, commissioned artists to capture parts of Newfoundland and Labrador culture.
So this mural is work that was done by Adam. He's a Montreal artist. His focus was on being a good neighbor. So one of the messages that we try and implement within our programming in the buildings.
While these apartments aren't directly affiliated with MUN, Cameron says Westerland is on good terms with the university. The company even consulted the Students' Union to plan around affordability.
We have a pretty good relationship with MUN in general, and even like their international society. So when they have, students that they can't fit on their residences, or it's, for whatever reason it's not a fit, they've been good with, going back and forth with us. So we've had a pretty good relationship overall, and it seems like pretty good feedback from what I hear, and we hope to continue that relationship.
The apartments here vary in price depending on how many bedrooms there are. A 3 or 4 bedroom unit will cost about $600 per person every month, while a 2 bedroom would be about $1,100. The building managers say that most of the units have filled up since September, and some students have already signed a lease for next fall. Maddie Ryan, CBC News, St. John's.
Have a look at this. This video from Ireland has been shared widely on social media, with people initially thinking a lion was roaming the Irish countryside. But after a police investigation, it turns out this lion is actually a Newfoundland dog with a fresh new haircut. And adding to the animal confusion, it Turns out the dog's name is Mouse.
Main character energy is amazing. Anyways, we got some weather on the way. Guess what it is? Snow and rain, but that's the time of year. So we're going to see some flurries on the western and Labrador, some rain there in eastern and central Newfoundland. And a question that I've been wondering, should I cut my hair? People have written in and said, because I'm growing a little bit of a terrible mullet. That's a joke, by the way. But anyways, well, I'll have all that and more, not after this commercial break, but the next one.
Hi everyone, I'm Jane Adey, host of Land and Sea. We have a brand new show coming up for you on Sunday, all about newcomers to the province. Did you know that since 2020, we have welcomed 27,000 immigrants? So this show is all about how some of those new Canadians are settling in Newfoundland and Labrador.
This mashup of Newfoundland and Labrador food and Indian cuisine is all because of this man. Mithun Matthew came to Canada back in 2017 as an aircraft mechanic student. Mithun is from southern India, the province of Kerala, where the population is roughly the same as all of Canada. Kerala is known for its tea and spice production. A culinary paradise with flavorful curries, rich stews, and mouth-watering biryanis.
The first thing I miss is the food, then my family, because food comes first for everybody.
Mattoon might have had better luck tracking down huge varieties of Indian groceries in Toronto or Montreal. While St. John's offerings for new Canadians is improving, Mattoon decided to satisfy his own hankering for home. In his downtime from aircraft maintenance, Mattoon opened up a small store to satisfy his cravings. It was a hit with the Indian community, and soon he needed more space. Black Marsh Superette was on the market, and its reputation was impressive.
I see like the regular customers are coming in, and so I saw there is a bond with the staff and the customers.
And that's everything for you, Meadow?
For Krista Parent, the changes have been exciting. New customers and new food.
When I first started, I haven't tried any new food, and now I'm trying most of it, and I love it. You see, like, so many different regular customers have been coming here 20, 30 years that were sort of so-so about the change, and now they're in every day getting butter chicken, or they're in every day getting chili chicken and stuff like that, and trying all the new dishes.
So watch for that show all about newcomers to Newfoundland and Labrador. You can watch for it on Sunday at 11:30. That's 11 o'clock in most of Labrador. If you miss it on Sunday, you can always watch it again on Monday right after Here and Now. We'll see you on Sunday. Thanks for watching.
Well, after a record-breaking dry spell, much of the province has been drenched with several major rainfalls. That still might not be enough to refill reservoirs in communities that have been struggling with water shortages for months. The CBC's Zach Gowdy reports.
After a record-breaking dry spell, many parts of the province are finally seeing some rain. But have the downpours of the past couple weeks been enough to refill water reservoirs in towns that have been struggling with water shortages? Joseph Dario is an associate professor of civil engineering at Memorial University. He's also an ecologist. He says all this rain has certainly helped water supplies, but by how much is complicated. He says one factor is whether a town relies on surface water, like a pond, or groundwater from wells. Another factor is just how fast this rain has been falling. Too fast, unfortunately, for all that rain to get where we need it to go.
So when you have a lot of rain in a short period of time, in a day or two, you'll get recharge. Your surface water, of course, will fill up. You'll get groundwater recharge, but not as much if that same amount of rain fell over an extended period of time, which just allows more infiltration.
Dario says one solution to this problem of rain falling too fast to capture it in the water system is water storage. But like so many aspects of this issue, building new water storage systems and the infrastructure to connect them can be technically challenging and expensive. Instead, in the years to come, many communities may have to do what they did this year and order residents to use less water in their daily lives.
In the long term, with climate change, it's probably more likely that we'll see these kinds of drier summers. There might be some changes in when precipitation falls. So we might expect this. And the first thing to do offhand, if this happens, is to reduce the water usage, because it could take a long time to develop new water supplies.
So even with more rain in the forecast for the next few days, people in towns like Torbay can expect water conservation orders to remain in effect. Zach Gowdy, CBC News, St. John's. News.
All right, Jeremy's back with a look at the weather, and it was interesting to hear Zach's story just before the break about all the rain and how it's been helping a bit.
But like I guess for people who are experiencing it, it feels like a lot, but apparently not enough to fill. We had such a great summer. I know we had terrible wildfires, but we had such a great summer, and now I guess as my grandmother Mary Meyer would say, we're paying for that now.
Yeah, you need the rain.
You need the rain. Everyone loves the rain. Well, not everyone, but anyways, these are This is a look at our current temperatures. But guess what's going to happen, fine folks of Newfoundland and Labrador? More rain. So basically what's going to happen, you can see at 6 p.m., which is like 30 minutes ago. So it's already raining in parts of the province, and then that system is going to move up towards, the Bonavista Peninsula. It's going to move across the bottom, and it's going to go towards the northern peninsula. So there will be a fair bit of rain tonight and again tomorrow night for a part, like basically from, we'll say, here over, and then we're going to get like the snow rain mix, and then the same thing up in Labrador. So as you can see that then, and guess what? One system goes, it's like, hey, this party's done. Let's have another system come in on Friday. So there's going to be more rain in the eastern part of the island as well. So this is what we're looking like tonight. Now there's a lot of numbers, so I can't put them all on the map because they don't fit. So I've got a trusty little list. So like St. John's, the St. John's, the northern Avalon there, you're going to see 15 to 25 millimeters of rain, and then another 10 to 20 again tomorrow night. Bay Roberts, you're going to look at 15 to 20. Fairyland, 10 to 20, and you're going to get more tomorrow. Placentia, 10 to 20. Mary Sound, who's been hammered by rain, you're also going to get 10 to 20. You get 10 to 20. You get 10 to 20. You get 10 to 20. Clarenville, Bonavista, Terra Nova, you're looking at 10 to 15, maybe 20 millimeters of rain, and some more tomorrow. Gander, you're looking at 10 to 15. Could be a bit of snow there because that's sort of where that divide line is. And then Twillingate, 5 to 10. Grand Falls, you're going to get a little bit of rain. That's going to turn to snow, and then it's going to turn back to rain. That's awesome. And St. Albans, who has had a ton of rain, the Harbour Breton area down there, you're going to get 10 to 20, and then more tomorrow. So that's what we're looking at in tonight. And when you go up into Labrador, things are calm. Skies are clear. It's always better in the big land. Cartwright's going to be -6. -5 in Nain. And then if we look at Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and Labrador City, low winds, it's going to get cold, but with the wind chill, it's going to feel a little bit colder than what that is. So this is what the Friday forecast looks like. So after it rains, it's going to stop for a bit, but on the western part of the island, you're going to see that rain-snow mix. So there's not really big accumulations. It's like 2 to 4 millimeters or 2 to 4 centimeters. But it is going to continue all the way up the coast into St. Anthony and Bayver Peninsula as well. Humber Valley, you're going to get a little bit. Burgeo, Port aux Basques, maybe you'll see a bit of it as well. And then on the eastern part, Bonavista is going to get a bit of rain. It's going to be pretty dry on the Avalon in eastern Newfoundland, but then tomorrow night, Friday night, it's going to turn to rain. The system's going to come back. Labrador is looking like it's going to have a lovely Friday afternoon. Not really much going on here. A few flurries all around except for Cartwright. You're going to see that rain-snow mix as well. But 4 degrees, same thing with Mary Harbour. But 4 degrees, can't complain about that as we come to the end of November there. So this is sort of a closer look. You can see the dark green is, that's a fair bit of, that's the rain line. And then as you can see, the further it goes yellow and into orange, it's going to be more more rain, I should say, and a little bit of wind as well. And that's going to continue. As you can see, there's that line between Gander and Grand Falls, and then it starts to turn into that rain-snow mix as well tomorrow. But the accumulations on the west coast won't be as large as what we're going to see in the east. And as you move your way up into the northern peninsula, they're going to get that same rain-snow mix as well, but no real accumulations. Northeast winds of up to 50. Cartwright, same thing as well. And as you move your way in, it's seeing temperatures are going to drop, and that rain-snow mix is going to move to just snow and flurries, but there's no real accumulations tied to that now. So this is the Friday night look ahead into the weekend, and as you can see, that system is already being like, what's up? You guys looking forward to a fun Friday night? We're just going to throw a little bit of rain on that parade, so don't worry about it. And then that's going to move across the island, and you can see the blue patches there. That's going to bring a little bit of snow as well. And then as we get ready for Saturday, things could turn around. We could see a bit of the sun there in the east and maybe in Marystown, but for the rest, it's probably going to be cloud covered and basically what we've experienced all week. It's been a fun week, but you know what? It's really fun coming up here and talking about rain and talking about snow. It's a lot of fun. It hasn't been an easy week with Ashley being away, but you know, we're trying our best. Anyways, that's all I got. I'll see TTYN. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Jeremy. Well, the United Nations has described the war in Sudan as the world's largest humanitarian catastrophe. In the past 2 years, over 150,000 people have been killed and over 12 million displaced. Memorial University's Students' Union is calling on the university to offer added support to the hundreds of Sudanese students at MUN. I spoke with Mansu about how the university can help.
We have students worried about their financial support. They lost families. They lost jobs back home. They've been working like 3 jobs for tuition, which is insane, especially with the increase in the tuition cost that is happening next year. There've been lack of mental support, lack of understanding a statement, or even acknowledgement within the institute itself.
What do Sudanese students need from MUN to feel more supported?
The first thing that we need from Memorial University is acknowledgement in itself. We need the institute to acknowledge the pain that the students are currently going through and the struggles that they're going through. A suspension of the late fees. Sudanese students should not be paying late fees just like every other student, especially when there's circumstances that are currently going within their home country that are so out of their control. Suspension of late fees, emergency scholarships and bursaries, specifically towards tuition costs. And we need immediate divestment from UAE companies and any companies complicit within this war. We need an increase to mental health support within the institution. Usually said the Student Wellness and Health Center has a 10-session counseling cap per semester per year. We need that extended. We need Sudanese students should not be going to the Student Wellness Center asking for mental health support and being kept on wait lists. That is not okay.
And can you, flesh out for me some more why these students need this added support in terms of the leniency from instructors, the mental health support? Help us understand what they're going through right now.
What they're going through is loss of their families. I talked to different Sudanese students within Memorial University. They had their cousins shot last week. Their grandparents died from starvation. They are dealing with active loss of their families, and that in itself is a huge mental strain on students and on students itself. So that's one part of it. And second part of it is not only have their families been lost, they've been killed. All of these combined is why the situation currently happening in Sudan is so intense and needs immediate attention.
The situation in Sudan, it's been ramping up lately. Most recently, there have been images, satellite images, showing that what looks to be what's being interpreted as mass graves, mass killings.
The fact that we had to see the blood getting shed from outer space for people to be like, this is bad, is insane in itself.
And just to bring this back to the students who are here at MUN and what they're going through, what is it like for them to be here and to see what's happening, see these images coming out of their home?
It feels very isolating. It feels very lonely, especially when there has been no statements from Memorial University itself to even acknowledge. There's been a lot of acknowledgement with the Palestinian war, which is amazing. But Sudanese students have felt very isolated and very under the shadows for the longest while ever, until things have gotten really, really bad that we couldn't even ignore the issues anymore. The lack of support, the lack of acknowledgement is a part of why they feel very, very alone within this university. Yeah.
This is an ask that you just put out this afternoon, so have you received any kind of a response from Memorial University yet?
We haven't received any kind of response, but we do expect a statement sometime soon with all the supports that MUN will be supporting, all the commitments that MUN will be having towards Sudanese students within this institution. And one of them is divestment from UAE companies. I don't think that's an unrealistic ask.
Memorial University has responded to Mansu's requests. In a statement, the university says it acknowledges the impact of the conflict on its Sudanese students, and MUN says it will work with individual students to lift financial holds on their accounts so they can register for the winter 2025 semester. MUN will also remove late payment fees from their accounts, and emergency funding is being made available by the provost's office. More information on how students can apply will be provided tomorrow. Newfoundland and Labrador has a long history steeped in music. The CBC's Heather Barrett was curious to know what's some of the music that defines the first 25 years of the 2000s. So she asked some local musicians to come up with a list of 25 essential songs. Here they are talking about the years 2015 to 2019.
So in 2015, the musical Come From Away is originally produced at La Jolla Playhouse in California. What songs from 2015 were you guys listening to and reviewing?
Cat McCleavey came out with their album Evergrown that year,
which had Old Shoreline, which was a great song.
Follow me down to the old shoreline, 'cause I'm getting ready to leave this coast behind.
Jerry Stamp came out with Rogue, A Doubt. Marathon Man got all kinds of airplay on CHMR, I know that, and commercial radio as well, I believe.
So when it came to them picking a song that really spoke to this province in 2015, what did you guys come up with?
We picked The Fortunate Ones, the song The Bliss.
This is all there is, maybe that's okay. Believing in the bliss, wishing my time away.
I just thought it was a sweet, beautiful song. It had a great video. The Fortunate Ones were really getting around, getting on the go that time, and we made sure to represent them in this list.
Well, the year 2016, we said farewell to a lot of beloved musicians that weren't from Newfoundland and Labrador, but really, I think a lot of Newfoundland and Labrador music lovers felt connected to. Of course, David Bowie early in 2016 and Leonard Cohen later that year. And that was also the summer that the Tragically Hip did its farewell summer tour. So what songs, though, made in this province were you guys looking at and listening to from 2016?
Durham Kane and An Incredible Woman, a record vinyl came out.
Yeah.
And I really like that album.
I really did too.
Definitely a cool time of probably young people moving in for MUN and, you know, maybe getting excited by like, I think there was like a big boom like we were talking about. Our pick is kind of, I think, a showing of that interest of like young people like playing rock and pop and alternative music, which our pick is Dukes by Repartee. Successful outside of the province, and it was really nice to see they were signed to a label and they were like touring, and very cool.
We're now at the year 2017. The Tim Hortons Briar was held in St. John's in March of that year, and the Braguzu Curling Rink won the Briar in front of a hometown crowd. Also, the Briar Pit shattered all previous bar sales records for the Briar. What music were you digging into from 2017?
Amelia Curran came out with Watershed.
Gravity, 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 gravity.
Matthew Byrne once again came out with Horizon Lines.
It's been 5 months since we were wed. I know how fast the time has fled. We must part at the dawning of the day when the good ship bears my love away.
For the winner, we chose Anarchy Baby by Property.
Time for reconciliation. So I squat the fly on the wall.
It was cool to see a band from here play without a drummer and a drum machine instead. I remember thinking like that was a really interesting and bold statement.
I go down to the water to relieve my mind of systematic slaughter.
The year is 2018. Newfoundland is hot, as in photogenic. Big campaigns from General Motors, Canada Goose, and Atmosphere were shot here in Newfoundland. Newfoundland actually turns up in a few shots in the blockbuster film Aquaman. What songs were you guys listening to from 2018?
Kelly Loader was a rising star at that year, hey?
Is there anyone out there, anyone like me?
Rum Raggy put out Hard Times.
That's right.
Awesome album.
On Monday I met Mary Ann and Tuesday Mary Jane. On Wednesday I met Miss McCann and Thursday Kitty Payne.
So in the end, Richie, what did you guys come up with for 2018?
Sherry Ryan and Stop the Trains from the album Wreck House.
A highfalutin manager came into town one day, said
great songwriter.
I think like this is one that is a testament to the idea of music that doesn't sound traditionally Newfoundland.
That's right.
And if you're from here, you know what it's about. Like it's like you said, it's a part of our history, and to anyone else, it could just sound like a song about trains. Yeah. So I think that's a really cool one. You know, it's a great like almost country number.
Stop the train, stop the train. You don't wanna let 'em pass.
We're looking at the year 2019 now for Newfoundland and Labrador music. That was the year that Hudson and Rex started shooting in Newfoundland and Labrador. In 2019, in terms of music made in this province, what did the three of you look at?
Tim Baker's first solo album came out that year.
What's to come, I cannot say, but the mainland calls to take me away.
Ian Foster and Nancy Hines had a week in December, which was kind of, I guess, it's sort of a seasonal album.
Yeah.
I tell you, I've been kicking our bad old ways, and you cheers my glass for old time's sake.
This sounds like another tough year to pick, though. Like, what did you come up with in the end?
We came up with Eastern Owl, the drum.
Now here I am, Maui on me, and I'm dancing to the drum.
What song made in Newfoundland and Labrador in that time stands out to you? Drop us an email, the NL25 playlist at cbc.ca.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced the federal government's second group of major projects for possible fast-track approval, and no projects from this province have been included. An Ontario nickel mine and a transmission line on BC's northern coast are among the latest projects being submitted.
Their impacts will be amplified by being part of bigger national strategies to boost Canada's competitiveness, including to realize our country's full potential as an energy superpower.
Some of the other projects being forwarded include a tungsten mine in New Brunswick, a graphite mine in Quebec, and a hydroelectric project in Nunavut. Projects referred for possible fast-tracking are reviewed by the Major Projects Office, but government has the final say. The University of Toronto has released the names of 3 newly hired academics lured north from the U.S. as part of a plan to gain international brain power. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson tells us who they are and why some Canadians say it's not all good news.
Another batch of star academics from the U.S. bound for major positions at the University of Toronto, including the man who will head up the Munk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy, formerly the researcher behind Barack Obama's Affordable Care Act.
I've done, research on a broad set of things like healthcare, government programs like pensions, Social Security here in the U.S. It's known as, and crime and homelessness and, a bunch of defense procurement research that I think is relevant to some of the issues that are front and center right now in Canada.
The other 2 are Duggan's wife, Jacqueline Pless, an innovation and energy economics scholar, and astrophysicist Sarah Seeger, a Canadian who has worked at top U.S. institutions. U of T's new president says the hires are a key part of a long-term strategy.
They are the tops in their field right now, and they're going to be here leading our research, but educating our students.
This type of brain gain could happen a lot more if the proposed federal budget is passed. It earmarks $1.7 billion for Canadian institutions to attract top academics and researchers from around the world, a policy welcomed by some and questioned by others.
So right across the country, we're seeing academic staff in colleges and universities losing their jobs. Researchers don't have the support they need. So, while welcome, we think that a lot more needs to be done to stabilize the system that they'd be coming into.
As U of T unveiled its new international hires, it also announced a program to hire 100 postdoctoral fellows over 2 years and provide research funds. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, a funny thing happened on the way home from work Tuesday night for some public transit users in Hamilton, Ontario. A bus driver got off for a break and a new driver got on and pulled away. A man police are now describing as a 36-year-old of no fixed address. Turns out, though, he did a great job.
He didn't follow the scheduled route, but he was making the scheduled stops. Well, there was not a ding on the bus.
Yep, no easy feat. The bus was one of these. With an accordion joint connecting two sections, the man paid attention to detail, too, demanding one passenger with an expired pass pay the fare. Police managed to end the unscheduled ride after 15 minutes without incident. That's bizarre. So I guess
that's
some
amazing.
random guy just got on the bus and drove.
I guess, and it wouldn't be easy.
Joyride on
God, no.
yeah, but he did the job.
He did the job. Did it pretty well. Not sure if he's going to get hired.
No.
Maybe not. We'll see. But it's hilarious that he was trying to collect fares. But good on him. Anyways, real quick note. Where are we? Right here. You're off tomorrow. I'm not here tomorrow, so this is going to look a lot different.
Yes, Ariana's going to be here.
And I think Ryan is stepping in for me.
Yeah, that's right.
But before you get Ryan, take a look at what I got to say. All right. Oh, I already hit my map one ahead. Let's see if I can go back. Not too late. All right, this is what we're looking at. So basically tonight for the, no, it's not going back. So if you look Labrador, you're going to get a few flurries, as you can see here in central and to the west as well. You're going to get a bit of flurry action up the north coast of Labrador. And then down on southern Labrador, you're going to get Cartwright, Mary's Harbour. You're going to see that rain-snow mix. So they haven't sort of figured out which way they're going to go. So basically what we're looking at now is what's going to happen for the weekend. And as you can see, there's a big system here of rain, snow, and a mix that's going to come across. So this is like, geez, the third or fourth system this week. It's pretty awesome. Everybody's having a good time. I know Lab West and Central Labrador are loving the snow. People are liking the rain. It's good for plants. It's good for everything. So now as we look ahead to Sunday, things might clear up just a little bit, and the sun will start to come out again. They're sort of in eastern, a little bit in central, probably up in St. Anthony and Cartwright as well. But, you know, you're still going to get that snow, that rain-snow mix there in central Labrador and Nain, and then Labrador City sitting at -1 with a few flurries coming as well. So this is the look ahead to Saturday. As you can see, province-wide, it's going to be a mixed bag. The temperatures are starting to drop, but it's still above zero in most of Labrador on Saturday, so that should be a nice little weekend if you're looking to get outside and see a few things, have a bit of fun. And let's just take a quick look now at our long-range forecast. So basically for eastern Newfoundland, the sun most likely will come out at some point, whether on Saturday or Sunday, who's to say. And then a bit more rain is going to come in at the end of the weekend as well. And then as we move into central, you're going to see that rain-snow mix Friday and Saturday. You're going to see that in central, and you're going to see that in western as well. There'll be a bit of a break on Sunday before the next system moves in, but just take a look at those temperatures because they are on the rise, which is always good news. And as we move into Labrador, so you can see slowly the snow is starting to fall there in western Labrador. A little bit of sun on Friday, and then the temperatures, as you can see, they're dropping down. They're going to feel a little bit colder than that at night because of the wind chill. And in eastern Labrador, you got it's going to be cloudy, a mix of flurries, rain, flurries, snow, slush, Christmas slush. Who's to say what you're going to find up there? And let's take a quick look at our picture of the day. And this is a beautiful shot of waves. The second one I think we've had this week sent in. And that was Roger Rousel. This is Back Cove Leading Tickle.
Oh, nice.
Now, if you have a picture, send it to nlphotos@cbc.ca or go to Ashley's Facebook page, facebook.com/AshleyCBC.
That's a gorgeous shot,
Great
Roger.
shot. Thanks for sending it in. Loves it.
Really chilly there, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, at least it's not going to be too chilly here today or this weekend, in eastern Newfoundland anyway. So the temperatures are pretty mild right now, but it'll probably have more rain or snow. Who's to say? Anyways, thanks so much.
Well, Jeremy, it's been nice having you this week. It's been fun.
It's always a pleasure.
Doing the weather.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thanks for your patience.
All right, well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us.